Welcome to another episode of
Suplex Society.
It's CE and with my co-host Luis. How are you?
I'm good. I've had a busy weekend. You know, it's Tuesday, so busy weekend. We had Bash Berlin. We had SmackDown. We had Raw. So we got a couple things to talk about.
I'm not happy.
Why not? Who did what to you, and where did they touch you?
Odyssey Jones.
Who? Odyssey Jones is the guy that was with the New Day, correct?
He was on NXT. He
Okay.
got drafted in April after WrestleMania.
I remember you telling me that.
It might have even been the first week of May. Then he spent all that time off TV, nothing to do with him.
I remember that was like a big point of contention with you.
Then he finally makes his appearance during the whole New Day, New Testament storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, as of yesterday, they removed him from the roster.
So he's fired? What happened with him?
The update today, according to Dirt Sheets,
Okay.
is that they fired him.
So they fired him. He's not injured or anything. They let him go.
They fired him.
Did they say why they let him go?
They're citing domestic abuse. I don't know the full story yet.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
No, but it took them so long
Just finally
to get him on TV.
Him. Yeah.
And then, and that they might bring him back eventually once they investigate it and everything else, but they fired him right now.
Well, good. I mean, good and not good. Look, I'm a big proponent of innocent until proven guilty. I would want to know what the whole story is. I don't want to know what's going on. But anytime that a man hits another woman, it's not okay.
Pay first.
Usually. So they must have had some sort of like proof.
I don't know. Like I said,
you would think so, right?
With a big company like that, maybe. But we're under a new
regime,
new umbrella, where they probably just didn't want the publicity, especially with McMahon.
Not just that, but it sounds like they're going to be more strict on situations like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, you're not happy because you wanted the violence? You wanted the domestic abuse? What did you want?
I just hated how they brought them. They didn't use them. And then they start using them. They just did him wrong.
Yeah, well.
And then he did himself wrong.
I like that.
I hate this whole situation on how they dropped the ball with him, and then he dropped the ball.
Okay, so going into storytelling and booking, what do you think happens now with the New Day? How did they even bring this up? They just
dropped it.
Oh, so what was there any storyline with the New Day?
No.
Was it
last night? You saw Kofi backstage, and that was it. There was no talks of New Testament. They just dropped that whole storyline.
At least for this Raw. We don't know about next week.
I feel like they dropped the whole New Testament, New Day storyline because of this.
I feel like there should be some sort of like...
And while we're talking about
it... there should be some sort of segue into New Testament saying something like, we don't want him anymore. We never wanted him. We wanted to break you guys up.
They just dropped it. New Testament was nowhere to be seen.
Because the whole point of doing that was to get Xavier Woods away from the New Day, right?
They dropped it. Xavier Woods wasn't even on Raw. You only see Kofi Kingston.
It sucks when one bad apple ruins the bunch, because now the whole situation with Xavier Woods is kind of messed up. The whole situation with the New Day is messed up. The New Testament's messed up.
How do you feel about contract breaches? You know what a breach of contract is, right?
Yes, I know basic English, okay?
No, how do you feel about a breach of contract?
Obviously, not good. Like, anytime that somebody breaches something that they're not supposed to breach, even if it's a birth canal, it's not something that's favorable for one of the parties.
Do you know what it means legally? Is what I'm asking.
Yes, they did something that they said they were not going to do, or they did something that they said they did. They said that they weren't going to be doing, and the contract states that there will be consequences to those things.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just
Now,
making sure
the
we're on the same
consequence
page.
doesn't have to be on everybody else.
I say that because the same thing, almost the same thing happened, but Ric Flair didn't get fired.
Ric Flair's a legend.
I don't care who you are.
What did Ric Flair do?
I've been listening to 83 Weeks. If you don't know what it is, it's on Spotify. I mean, it's with Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff.
Mm-hmm.
Bischoff's my dude.
Okay,
I like Eric Bischoff. Yeah. And they were talking about Ric Flair no-showing a pay-per-view. Or not a pay-per-view, but
a major event, whatever it was.
It was a TV taping for Thunder.
Okay.
And they had a real life falling out because of it. And their legal, WCW legal got involved. All of it.
Do you think there should be
and
tiers to consequences?
What do you mean?
I think no showing an event is less critical than domestic abuse. Would you agree or disagree?
Okay, yes, I get it.
Okay.
I'm not saying they didn't do the right thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying I hated the whole situation where they
We like domestic violence. I get it.
They just dropped the ball on both sides.
I completely agree.
The company and the individual.
Yeah.
Whether he did it or not, it's still dropping the ball.
I say they dropped the ball because of how it leaves everybody else, and they shouldn't just
exactly.
I agree with that.
So, yeah, I got a whole. You know what kayfabe is?
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
It means to be the character in and out of the ring. Yeah, when you break kayfabe is when you decide to not carry on the tradition.
You know what a kayfabe? Do you know what? Have you ever heard of the curtain call?
Of course.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, when they all hugged each other after defeating each other when they were about to go to the next promotion. Okay. Kevin Nash, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and who was the other one?
It was X-Pac.
X-Pac.
Okay, I just didn't know how much you knew. But anyways,
I play a dumbass. I'm not a dumbass. Okay.
So Raw was okay. Like I said, they dropped a whole storyline. Just got dropped.
Which is the one we were just talking about.
The Terror Twins dominated at Bash in Berlin. They dominated last night.
Let me ask you a question about the Terror Twins. Specifically about Rhea Ripley, because that's my mommy. I saw a little TikTok of her in crutches. Is she okay? I just want to know that my baby's okay. Injury. Oh, okay, storyline injury.
Liv attacked her earlier in the night.
Yeah.
And so they had to play it off like she hurt her leg.
I saw she was dangling from her leg.
She fell. Dom saved her.
Oh, did he?
Because he was standing right next to her, and she fell out of the ring and got caught up in the ring ropes. I don't know if she actually hurt herself.
I was wondering, because and I figured that's what it was, but they played it all so well that I didn't know that was part of the story, that was meant to happen.
No.
I didn't think so.
Wasn't meant to happen.
It looked very accidental. And if they planned that, wow. That's some good acting.
You'll see that Dom tried to stop her with his foot so she didn't hit her fucking head on the fucking canvas. Yeah. But no, she came out and, of course they tried to play it off that Liv wasn't there and Liv came out of nowhere. And then there was a tag team match between the main event last night was JD McDonough and Finn Balor versus Damian Priest and Jey Uso.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was like, who are they going to tag with Damian Priest?
Damian and Jay got the win. I think I think they're playing toward a storyline between Jay and Rhea,
which
I don't really. And Rikishi has played. Rikishi is Jey Uso's dad. He was like, man, he might as well just go to AEW. They might use him better.
Rikishi said that?
Yes.
Really?
Because
I think they're using Jey Uso pretty well right now. You don't think so?
There's so many big players right now.
There is. We've talked about this.
If they didn't have as many big players as they did, Jey Uso would be in the world title picture.
I agree.
If not world champion.
I agree. He's very over right now.
He is. And they're squandering it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's in the finals of the Fatal 4-Way #1 contenders match, which they did those 2 matches.
#1 contender for the world championship? Or
Intercontinental.
Okay.
Which that would
and he doesn't need it. He doesn't need to be an Intercontinental champion. I don't think he's going to win that. I don't think who's the Intercontinental championship right now?
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, see, they don't need...
They've had an interaction already last night.
I don't know.
And I think they're teasing it. Bronson Reed...
It's because they're going to feed it to him. And
I think Bronson Reed was removed. Yeah, he was removed from the show last night. I don't know if it was the injury from the tsunami on the vehicle last week, but that happened.
Okay. So Bronson Reed is Intercontinental?
No.
Or Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker is Intercontinental champion. Remember, I sent you the picture. Mm-hmm. Bronson Reed jumping on fucking one big SOB. What's his name?
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. Yes. Which he competed last night. I don't know if it was because he got injured from the vehicle tsunami or if it's because of something else.
Yeah.
They didn't say. Oh, and Sami Zayn has made the jump to fight Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Did he just lose to
Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker?
At SummerSlam, yeah.
So how does that make sense? Like make that make sense to me. If you just lost for the Intercontinental Championship...
Well, you got to think about who beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Sami. That's the last person to pin Gunther.
Regardless, like there's flukes, right? We can agree that there's flukes in everything.
I don't think it was a fluke, though.
I agree, but how? There's levels to this, right? You would say that Intercontinental is mid card, right? Intercontinental Championship has always been mid card. Can we agree on that?
Yes. Here's the justification to that. Let me finish.
Okay, let me hear it because I want to understand this.
People who win the Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. This is the next step after winning the Intercontinental. You jump up and win the World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton did it. Gunther did it. Just did it. You know what I mean?
I get that from a logical point of view.
But their matches were money makers. Gunther's and Sami's.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, mind you, I would rather see Chad Gable up there instead of Sami. Chad Gable should have been the one that beat Gunther.
Look, I'm just coming at this from a realistic point of view. They just get the championship to Gunther. They're not going to take it away from him right now.
No, it's going to be a while.
So we understand that if he does fight Sami Zayn,
we know Sami's not going to win it.
Yeah, so they're feeding, and this is what I hate.
They have to.
I get that. But
you have to make it legitimate.
I get it and I understand it. What frustrates me though is that they squander good talent by feeding him to the other one, to Gunther. I don't think they have to. I think there's ways to.
Okay, if it wasn't Sami Zayn, who would you put in the ring with Gunther?
I think
next.
Chad Gable would be a better one.
I get it. But at the same time, he's got his own. They didn't fucking do what I suggested and just in that storyline. Because now next week there's an 8-man.
Oh, versus the White Six?
Yeah, they didn't end it.
I honestly, when you told me about it last week, I didn't think the storyline was over. Because they have to keep building that a little bit more.
It's a street fight.
I think, honestly, and I hate saying this because I love the White Six and I love Bray Wyatt. I love what he could have potentially been to the promotion. I think they're going to squander the White Six.
No,
mark my words, and I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, but I think they're going to squander White Six. I don't think that they're building. They should have been building them like they built the Shield.
Yeah, you can't do that.
But I think that's how they should have done. Like YX6, because that's how they started. If you remember when the YX6 first jumped onto the scene, they started decimating everybody behind the scenes. Remember that?
Yeah.
With the whole Chad Gable bloodied up, and then everybody thought he was dead, and now he came back to life.
There's gonna be a next. After this storyline, they need mid-card. They need mid-card storylines, and that's what this is right now.
I agree.
You have to build up to those big-time storylines.
The Shield is, to me, the Shield is one of the best build-ups to talents, because all three, independent from each other, were not mainstream talents.
Well, here's my question: out of the three, which one's the best?
And out of the three, the Shields, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins to me is number one, and that's why it made sense to team him up with Triple H and the Authority whenever that happened.
Yeah.
That storyline made sense. Like, people didn't like it because of the betrayal. People didn't like it,
but this is a whole different can of worms. It's a different kind of faction. It's a different kind of... I don't know where they're going with it. I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I want to see it succeed at least.
And that I want to as well. I think that the mistake of the YX6 is going to run out very quickly.
We'll see. They've only been back for, what, 2 months?
And I'm already not interested.
Give it time.
I want to. I really do want to.
They chose the wrong people.
And I think that's what it is.
I think they chose the wrong faction to start it with. Like,
I agree. I agree with you.
It 100%. Shouldn't have been Chad Gable and company.
It should not have been. It shouldn't. I don't think... It's not that I don't think the YX6 is good enough to sell that match. I don't think Chad Gable and company
are the people to...
Because
that's a new faction.
Can carry... I don't think they can carry the credibility behind it.
It's a new faction. They didn't give American Made enough time to build.
Exactly.
And that's why I think it's a dud.
I agree. They're going to do with Chad Gable what they've done with Chad Gable since he came into the promotion.
I like Chad Gable.
You know who Chad Gable is to me?
Kurt Angle.
No, I'm not, and I'm gonna be very.
Did you watch?
I'm gonna be very disrespectful right now.
Did you watch the promo last night?
I did not. But maybe if I watched that,
he reminded me of Kurt Angle.
And I don't even like that. Just you telling me that I don't like that. I don't want him to compare him to Kurt Angle.
He reminds me of Kurt Angle.
Every single time he's gonna be compared to Kurt Angle. He should be his own independent person.
Yes.
But look,
you're in the same conversation.
I'm trying to think of what his name was.
Who was he?
He was in 3-Man Band.
3MB?
Yeah.
Don't say Heath Slater.
Heath Slater. That's who Chad Gable is right now. He's been packaged, repackaged, now put in a group like 3-Man Band. I dare say that eventually he's gonna be in a group where he is...
Eventually, he'll have his singles run.
Look, I don't want to say it because it's a new regime. And it really is, and it shows. But Chad Gable, to me, is another Heath Slater. He's a company man. He is a mid-carder all the way through. And I don't think he'll ever get... Maybe top mid-card, but never lower top cards. I don't think he'll ever get to that point.
He will.
You say that now. When I see it, I'll believe it. But how long has Chad Gable been in the company?
Not very long.
Chad Gable's been in the company for at least 5 years.
Okay, that's 5 years though. You know, some of these people that are in NXT have been around for more than 5 years.
But I'm talking on the main roster for 5 years.
He hasn't been on the... He started on NXT.
Let's look at it right now. How long has Chad Gable been on the main roster? How long?
Chad Gable hasn't even... I don't like how they did the whole... Because he was a heel for the longest time.
2016. Gable made his main roster debut during August 9, 2016 edition of SmackDown.
Yeah.
With Jason Jordan.
Yeah.
So more than 5 years.
Yeah, it's been more than 5 years. Jason Jordan, they were going to play it off as Kurt Angle's son.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Jason Jordan got injured.
I remember and that's why I remember that it was a while ago. He's 8 years now. Chad Gable's been in the main roster for 8 years.
But he's also one of those ones that McMahon didn't see talent in.
Again, I want to be wrong.
He is getting more under this new regime than he would have under McMahon.
You and I can both agree that
McMahon ruined shit.
I'll agree on that too. And I wouldn't even say he ruined shit. He ruined this new generation. Everything after the Attitude Era has been ruined.
That's because he bought out his competition.
Partly it's because of that. Partly it's because he went into the PG era.
He didn't have no competition after he bought WCW, and you couldn't. No, and I know what you're gonna say. Well, Vince McMahon ruins a lot of shit, and before you say, "Oh, TNA, this and that," they weren't real competition.
If they're not real competition, who's real competition?
Nobody was.
Who's real competition right now?
The closest thing you get is AEW.
And even then, I think you and I can both agree that that's not enough.
No, you need more.
Okay, but then right now, everybody can unanimously agree that other than the Attitude Era, this is the best WWE we've had in the 2000s.
Yes, I agree.
And it has nothing to do with competition.
Yes, it does.
It has nothing to do with competition.
You don't think. Okay, so let's go back to 1998. Right? Okay.
I'm not saying that competition hasn't played a factor in the past. I'm just saying that it's not playing a factor right now.
No. What I'm saying is when Vince bought WCW.
Yes.
That's when, right after that, it went to shit.
I disagree. What year did Vince buy WCW?
2001. And that was the worst. They started with that invasion angle.
John Cena started
2002.
In 2002.
Yes.
I do not think
wrestling was shit. Because they did the Katie Vick angle with Triple H and Kane. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't think. I think before 2006, I wouldn't say that's prime WWE. I wouldn't say that's best WWE. I wouldn't say.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Katie Vick and Kane and Triple H.
I don't remember
that. That's one of the shouldn't have been on WWE TV.
Yeah. Okay. Look,
it was
John
shit.
Cena, Batista, Edge.
That was 2005, bro.
Again, my point exactly. That was after. And he bought competition.
Here's the thing. He had to
Brock Lesnar.
He had to regain his footing, and he did eventually. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he didn't, but nothing was as hot as it was during the Monday Night Wars. He wasn't competing with anybody, so there was no.
Okay, by that logic, you would have to credit the success that WWE has right now to competition, and I don't think you can do that.
I mean, they're kind of competing.
No, because then you would say that whenever AEW came to a scene, at that moment, that's when it became the best, and that's not the case. I credit WWE right now to two things.
New regime.
Vince McMahon not being there, and TKO buying WWE.
Yes.
So, tell me
but even then, it was already getting hot before that. Because the merger happened at the beginning of the year.
When Vince McMahon...
It was like last year.
Yeah.
But it was already getting hot under... Once they found out the investigation that he resigned and Triple H was already in charge of things. It's only been a year, August, since Triple H has been in charge of creative. And you've seen a lot of the things that Triple H and Shawn Michaels have been able to do.
Look, I think you're proving my point even more.
But what I'm saying is, they're having the same issues. You say they're not competing, but they are.
With who? What promotions?
Let's look at it from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. Okay, in order to have the best talent, mm-hmm. right, you got to sign them.
Okay.
When AEW came along, nobody wanted to go wrestle in TNA, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it shut its doors or it changed names or whatever.
Yeah. TNA went through a whole situation where they were going bankrupt at one point.
TNA just became TNA again.
Right.
Once AEW showed up, there wasn't as much fight over talent. There's a lot of fight over talent right now. You can't sign the Eric Garcias, people that there's a talent, like they're going to court over what's it called when you try to poach talent?
Clause?
Yeah.
Okay. Or poaching?
They're saying that WWE is calling their talent and seeing what they're, you know what I mean? There's a whole thing, and they went through it with WCW too.
Okay.
So they're having to put on. It's not just that they're competing ratings wise. They're competing for the best talent.
I'm trying to find a way that I can agree with you, because I want you to know that I'm listening to the things you're saying. I just don't agree that is.
Are they at the stage to where they're competing on a global? They're not, but they're competing on, because it's AEW, we're the best wrestler or whatever. Mm-hmm. WCW was where the big boys play.
Right.
They're trying, and I don't know what the end game is for AEW, whether they're trying to
stay
alive, or they're going to have a McMahon come in the picture, because there's been talks with Shane.
I get it, right?
Or it could be Vince trying to get back at his old company. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Okay.
And this is a WWE show. Okay. WWE is, what is it called? Tampering with other people's talent.
Which makes sense. Look, I don't agree with it because it's not the right thing to do, but it makes sense that I, as one promotion, one employer, is going to try to get the best talent out there.
But you can't do that if they're locked up.
No, you can't, but you shouldn't.
You can't.
No, you shouldn't.
It's illegal.
So, for more reason, you shouldn't. You shouldn't steal, but you still can.
Tampering is illegal.
Again, I shouldn't hit you in the face, but I could hit you in the face.
So let's talk about just WWE at the moment.
Okay.
Big weekend. Bash in Berlin sucked.
How did that? Oh, that's about to ask.
Bash in Berlin sucked. I only like 2 matches on that entire card. That was the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, how was that?
It was basically, like I said, it was like a Texas bull rope match. They were tied to each other by a leather strap. The match started before the match.
I say you usually do.
CM Punk got the win.
Oh, good for him. He got his bracelet back?
Yeah, and then last night he got it shoved down his throat.
What?
All roads leading to Hell in a Cell, like I said.
Okay. Yeah, you did say that.
In October 5th, Atlanta, Georgia. If you're there, go get tickets. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be a hot ticket. We'll see. I enjoyed that match. A lot of whipping. Chair use. CM Punk
use?
Chair. CM Punk bled.
Was it bad?
It wasn't a lot, but it was
noticeable.
You could see it. I like the new format, the new pay-per-views.
They're changing that up?
So they're not as many matches, so you get better quality matches and longer matches.
Okay.
It's giving talent more time to
develop the story within the ring.
Develop the story, showcase their talents.
I like that.
It's also making the wrestler better.
Of course.
Because the night before, the big PLE, they had the Intercontinental Championship Open match, or not Intercontinental, United States. Logan Paul, fuck, LA Knight.
LA Knight
had an open challenge. Ludwig Kaiser.
It's on SmackDown.
Yeah, Ludwig Kaiser he answered the call and then he got beat.
Which was Ludwig Kaiser?
The guy with Gunther.
Okay.
He's also from that side of the pond.
Yeah.
So it fit.
Yeah.
For the crowd.
Makes perfect sense. So he did this on Basha Berlin.
It was the night before it.
On SmackDown, which was
it was in Berlin as well.
Gotcha.
Pretty standard SmackDown go home show. They're teasing the breakup of A-Town Down Under. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, which they've been teasing it for a long time. I think they're overdoing it in that fact because they've teased it and then they just went away from it. Now they're teasing it again.
Austin Theory is another one that they're kind of dropped the ball with.
And it's because of McMahon.
They dropped the ball because of McMahon?
Mm-hmm. They had to take him away from the spotlight because of McMahon. He was the chosen one.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's why when Roman came back, he was like, "Oh, your daddy's not here anymore," kind of thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that makes sense.
They had to change up a few. It's the people that are involved that they have to change storylines for.
Yeah.
He could be he should be in the world title hunt.
Austin Theory?
Mm-hmm. He has the charisma. He should.
I like Austin Theory.
He could and should be.
I liked Austin Theory.
Grayson Waller, I don't know yet. Verdict's still out on him. I haven't really seen his singles work by himself. It's always been with a team that I know of.
Yeah. You see, look, Austin Theory is somebody else that could give feed to Gunther. And that would make sense because to me, they're both at the same level.
It looks like they're going to have to do a roster shuffle.
I would not mind that. When is the
because Raw goes to USA or Raw goes to Netflix January 9th.
Oh, so 5 months until they do a draft? That would make sense.
And then
not even then. They could do a draft.
Remember, SmackDown goes to USA September 13th or 14th.
So that's this month.
Here's the thing. Netflix wants Roman on Raw.
Right.
And they paid him a lot of money, so they have to kind of honor that. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to have to do some kind of shakeup.
Yeah.
Because, one, I don't even know. Mia Yim and Nia Jax were the main event.
How'd that go?
It was a street fight. It was good. Mia Yim got smashed in a fucking trash can by Nia Jax.
I'm deviating a little bit from Nia Jax to.
I think they're not booking that right.
Rhea Ripley.
How did we get back on Rhea?
That pin.
Oh my gosh!
That Rhea
Ripley on Liv Morgan.
On Liv Morgan. Not just the. I'm talking about the whole sequence from.
But did you see how she locked her legs around Dom? That's how it all started. Like,
oh, I didn't see that.
When young Dom, they were trying to get him to switch to the Judgment Day.
I want you to show me that. I want you to show me that to see what you mean.
Actually, here. I can pull it up off the network.
But you said Nia Jax. You think they're dropping the ball on that? What do you say that?
Well, Nia Jax is a big woman.
Yes.
There's not a lot of people that could actually fight Nia Jax. Like, actually fight.
And it'd be equitable.
Yeah. So when you're looking at it, Mia Yim or Michin, She was with AJ Styles in the Bullet Club.
Okay.
She hasn't been credible at all, but she's getting a women. I mean, that's basically what you're saying about Gunther. She was fed to Nia Jax,
and that, for the sake of building up characters, feeding makes sense, and the higher that they are, the more credible people do you have to feed them.
Exactly.
But you have to make sure that they're not only are you building a storyline, but that you're also not, I forgot what it's called, not diminishing who you're feeding to this person.
Right.
So depending on the person, like Sami Zayn is going to get diminished by losing to Braun Breaker.
Okay, so I don't think Sammy's going to win a world title.
And you asked me not too long ago who is the most underrated star in this roster? Probably Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Probably Sami Zayn. But what are you going to do?
But Sammy's becoming what Randy is.
Randy Orton?
Randy has lost every single premium live event he's been in this year since he's been back.
But it makes sense for Randy Orton to lose. That's what happened to John Cena whenever he was on the downhill.
Oh, this.
Oh, I did see something like that.
But, we're talking about, I don't know. Gunther is a whole different beast. Every championship he's held it for a long period of time. He won the NXT UK and then he held it for 300-something days.
And then went to NXT and he
won the NXT championship, held it for record amount of time. I don't think they'll do that with the world title. I think it'll be some kind of dominant run. And the match with Randy...
Yeah, I respect that. I like that.
The match with Randy, it gave him his footing as world champion. The way that Randy kept fighting back and then he ultimately got Randy Orton to pass out, that's how you wanted that match to go. That's how I would have booked it.
And that makes sense because he doesn't, Randy Orton lose by elimination, not by tap out. Or
he didn't give up. He didn't get pinned.
Those type of... But you can't have that every single match.
No, but he needed the legitimacy that they didn't give Damian Priest.
Agreed.
He's already had a good match, his first title defense, and it was Randy Orton. And it was a good match. That match went for 30 minutes.
With
Gunther. Randy Orton and Gunther. That was a 30-minute match.
I haven't seen that match. I need to see it. But
Randy Orton's a good worker.
He is. He's definitely grown a lot since this.
He was green when he first won a world championship.
Yeah.
That's the reason when they figured it wasn't working. I was trying to figure out.
Was he green, but he was immature.
Same thing.
To me, green is that you don't know what you're doing. To me, immature is that you know what you're doing. You just choose not to do the right things.
He had only been doing it for 2 years on the main roster.
Who's an equivalent of that right now? Who's really, really good? Braun Breaker.
Okay, but Randy wasn't good within 2 years.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. Not by himself.
Randy Orton
could not be by himself.
How long has Braun Breaker been in the main roster?
2 years. No, not even 6 months.
How long was he in NXT?
Maybe a year and a half.
Okay, and would you say he can hold matches on its own?
He didn't need evolution like Randy needed.
But he needed evolution for the build, not because of his in-ring talent.
Originally, it wasn't even supposed to be Randy Orton. You want to know who
yeah, I remember some
big ass dude.
Yeah, some guy who's not even relevant right now.
He's not relevant.
And look,
you're telling me that Randy Orton needed the build up. They didn't build Braun Breaker like he just He's got freakish talent. Freakish strength.
I agree with the Braun Breaker talent. I agree with that.
Like he did it by himself. He wasn't in a group.
But that's part that
he didn't need a group.
That was because of the way the WWE wanted to build him.
Are you saying that Randy needed Evolution to get over?
Absolutely. No, not even. I don't think he needed Evolution to get over. I absolutely don't think I think it helped him. I think that was what should have been done at the time. I wouldn't have booked any differently looking back. But did he need Evolution? No, he needed a good feud.
Randy Orton needed guidance, and that's why they put him in Evolution.
You said that's a perfect word. He needed guidance. Not that he needed in-ring work. Not that he needed to be better on the mic. Not that he needed to be better.
He wasn't even good on the mic.
But that's what I'm saying. He didn't need any of that at that point because he was already very naturally talented. Everybody that talks about it, Triple H, John Cena, Brock Lesnar. I'm
not saying he's not talented.
Batista, Ric Flair, all of them talked about how naturally talented he was.
Yes, but he didn't know the backstage politics.
Yeah, he was immature.
Green.
No.
He was green too.
Maybe we're just using the same word to mean different things, but to me, green is that you don't know what you're doing.
He didn't know the business. That's green.
I disagree. It's one thing to know the business and choose not to do the things because you're too stubborn. And another thing to not know that you're doing something wrong because
everybody starts out green, and that's what he was, and that's why he wasn't able to carry the world championship. That's why they pivoted back to Triple H so fast.
I disagree with you. I disagree.
It's written.
Yeah, it has everybody that talks about him and his fall has to do with his immaturity.
I think eventually he will win a world championship.
I don't think so. I think it's too late for him.
The only reason why I'm saying that is they're going to build the feud one final time with John Cena. And that's how...
Okay, but
that's how... Hold on. That's how John Cena breaks the record.
Against Randy Orton?
Or, I mean, I'd like to see John Cena and Gunther.
I would not.
Prime John Cena.
There's not... Oh, that makes more sense.
But
okay, I can see it.
John Cena's got 60 dates.
He's 60 what?
He's got 60 dates for his retirement tour. And they're all pretty much...
Was it 2025?
This next year. In 4 months. Starts in January.
Then they should have started building Randy Orton today.
I don't know what the plan is with Randy.
Hey, look, now that I'm thinking about it, it does make sense. Build up Randy Orton, give him the title, build a feud. You have to build a feud with John Cena 6 months at least.
Yeah.
At least. And that will have nostalgia to it. That will have...
But John Cena's got to be in wrestling shape. The last couple times we've seen him, he hasn't been.
He can get in shape, though. I mean, that's not a problem. I think he needs to cut that hair, personally.
He's not in wrestling shape. The match with Austin Theory, he wasn't in wrestling shape.
I didn't watch it. Like, this was surprising because he hasn't been in the ring for however long.
But if you're going to come back and do a WrestleMania match...
Look, if The Rock can do it, he can do it.
Rock's a better worker than Cena.
Oh, we're talking about in-ring?
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. But I'm just talking about getting in shape.
Rock's always in shape. You don't got to get in shape if you're already in shape.
The Rock's on steroids.
No,
I think we can agree. You don't think The Rock's on steroids?
No.
Are you delusional?
No, I'm not delusional.
I'm not talking about like steroids to get huge. I'm just talking it's like
he's not. I've seen his meals. Like the way that guy.
Well, even if you're on steroids, you have to eat a lot.
Yeah, no, just listen.
Okay, I'm sorry. You say
WWE and steroids. It's not something that he can do.
He's definitely on some sort of performance enhancer, whether it's steroids, which I will agree with you. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe it's not steroids.
We were just talking about this with Benoit.
But it has to be steroids adjacent.
I don't know. The man can I mean, he's been doing it long enough. Anyways,
I don't know. We keep getting off topic, but you were saying
Randy Orton. I don't know. I want to see one last time John Cena. I think they're gonna do a Cena and Punk match too.
Punk says that one of his best feuds was with John Cena. So I would not mind watching that.
So obviously we know Gunther retained. Sammy challenges. SmackDown built up. Bash in Berlin. Raw was kind of shitty because they changed. Pat McAfee's no longer on Raw anymore right now.
It's Baron Corbin?
No, it's Michael Cole or it's Corey Graves and Joe Tessitore. ESPN guy. They brought in another one.
Who's the British dude?
That's Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett. I thought, was he on SmackDown?
Wade Barrett's on SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I don't even know. I'm just not happy right now with the storytelling at the moment. Because Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill won their titles back, right? Mm-hmm. They're prolonging the breakup of them two. Jade Cargill needs she hasn't had a defining moment.
Yeah.
And Bianca Belair is that defining moment where they just need to bump heads already. They're prolonging it too long, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's talk about storylines that we do like. Bloodline?
I think it's going on too long.
Okay, so Bloodline, we don't. We really dislike it. It's kind of do something with it right now.
Yeah, it's like you're poking it with a stick. Like,
Cody Rhodes, who's he against right now?
Nobody at the moment.
Okay, so get him somebody. CM Punk, I think he finished his
no. That Drew attacked him last night and then shoved his bracelet down his
But throat. I thought I saw something somewhere that said CM Punk is.
He said he wants to go after Gunther.
Exactly. So how are they gonna?
I think they're setting it up for like Survivor Series or something.
Look, I think if they keep at it with this whole.
But Drew, he has to, in order for him to get into that world title picture, he has to beat Drew. He has to win the whole thing, like win the whole rivalry.
CM Punk versus Drew.
They're tied 1-1.
Oh, okay. So
they need that tiebreaker. Okay. Telling us out. I called it.
Okay.
So that's what it's building to. Punk has to win that.
I'm indifferent about that feud.
Punk has to win for him to just jump to the Gunther.
And I agree. I like that. I'm indifferent about that feud.
I don't really care for the Terror Twins.
I think that's the only one I kind of like. Look, Dom is a perfect heel.
Yes.
Look, I talk about Mommy all the time. I like her a lot. I don't even care too much about Damian Priest. I do like Rhea Ripley.
He's bisexual Undertaker.
That's what they call him, right? Yeah. I like Rhea Ripley. I like Dom.
I think it's just too many factions.
And we've talked about that. But as far as feuds go, that Rhea Ripley, because it's not even Rhea Ripley versus Liv. It's Rhea Ripley versus Dom.
I think they're kind of resetting it because SmackDown's about to do a season premiere on USA. I think that's how they're gonna start their storyline. The first.
Well, that's next week in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I think that's what they're kind of waiting for.
How much more storyline can they build in 2 weeks?
No, they're gonna build different storylines. Introduce
that makes sense.
New storylines. Roman Reigns is going to be on that show. I kind of can't wait.
Okay.
I'm a Roman. I didn't like Roman. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't like Roman. I didn't like the way that he was being shoved down our throats like John Cena was.
Can you and I both agree the best thing that happened to Roman Reigns was the
heel turn?
I was going to say...
You were going to say the leukemia?
No. I'm going to have a heart, okay? I have a heart. The best thing that happened to Roman Reigns was COVID.
Yeah, I didn't want to see him fight Goldberg anyway.
I'm talking about the fact that there was no... If there would have been an audience during COVID, he doesn't get over. the fact that he was able to dictate his own turns.
No, I think he would have still been able to get over as a heel.
Maybe he was. Like, I'm not giving him enough credit. I think maybe a combination of Corbin and Paul Heyman.
Yeah, Paul Heyman was a big factor in all that.
Yeah,
they were the only ones that could say who he was going to lose the title to. Mm-hmm. And I think Paul Heyman's still kind of in the ear of Roman.
Which he should. Like, Paul Heyman is a wrestling
Hall
genius. Yes.
Next week, we're going to be talking about the Montreal Screwjob. Okay. So do your homework.
I can talk about that. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. I don't want you to answer right now, but I want you to think about this over the next week. It's a question that I've always asked myself every time I hear about the Montreal Screwjob, right? And I've asked myself about this, about a couple of different situations that have happened in the WWE. Do you think that was a work?
And with that, we'll see you next week.
All right. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. What are they going to comment down in the comments down below? For our 3 viewers that are watching.
Favorite moment from Bash in Berlin.
Okay. What's your favorite moment from Bash in Berlin?
I don't know if you've watched it.
Look, right now, everything Dom and Rhea Ripley do.
Match of the night went to Gunther and Randy Orton.
Okay. I'll have to watch that one to actually get into it.
You need to watch. It's a 30-minute match.
Yeah. I like that. All right. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.